Hi everyone, 3 Men and a Whiskey back for another Christmas movie and hopefully super whiskey mashup. But before I get into all of that, I need to give my Glentauchers 105 a rating from yesterday because apparently I was so into this that I forgot. So it won't come as a surprise, it's a really high score. I love a Glentauchers, I love a sherry bomb, and I love a cash strength whiskey. So I'm going to give this 9 out of 10. Might even be a 9.5. But yeah, it's definitely up there. It's an absolutely superb dram. What am I going to watch though? So the last 5 days, the last 5 movies I've done have all been very, what I would say, traditional Christmas movies. And yeah, they've all been slightly different. They've all maybe had slightly different themes and different tones and what have you. But they've all checked the boxes in terms of being quintessentially a 100% Christmas movie, right? But there are movies out there that are across multiple genres. You know, they're Christmas movies and they're something else. You know, there are action movies, thrillers, horror movies, and well, there might be some people out there who turn their nose up at them and say, "Oh no, they can't be real Christmas movies because of that." I disagree. I really do. I think, if they've got a Christmas theme to them and a message about Christmas, they can be something else as well. They can cross the streams, and there'll be more of those to come during this series of films that I'm doing. But for today, I really wanted to pick something that was the opposite of White Christmas. And if I'm going to have the opposite of White Christmas, there was only one movie when I was doing my research that jumped out as the obvious thing, and that is the movie called Black Christmas. Now, I did not even know this movie existed. Shame on me, I suppose. But Black Christmas is a slasher film, a horror from 1974. It is seen as the precursor to lots of other great slasher flicks that followed, including Halloween by John Carpenter. When I mentioned that I was going to watch this to Pete from 3 Men and a Whiskey, he said he was, "Oh, that's amazing. That is an amazing film. You'll love it." And he is our horror movie guru, so I'm gonna trust his judgment there. And for those people out there who say, "No, that's not a Christmas movie," I did do a lot of research on this, running through November into December to make a start on all of this. And Black Christmas was a mainstay. It was in a lot of people's lists out there on the interweb. So they can't all be wrong. And I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt as well. And I'm gonna give this a go. It's got a number of, well, certainly for me, familiar faces in there earlier in their careers. Margot Kidder, the greatest Lois Lane there has ever been. Keir Dullea, who, if you're into your sci-fi, was in 2001: A Space Odyssey. He was Dave Boorman. What are you doing, Dave? And all that kind of stuff. Needless to say, my daughter's not going to be watching this movie with me. Holly is watching it with me though, because she was so disappointed with White Christmas that the idea of watching a horror Christmas movie, has floated her boat. So she's pretty happy about that. What do I pair with it? What whiskey do I pair with a movie called Black Christmas? Well, when I was thinking about this, I started to think a little bit about the journey we go on when we try whiskey, right? So I mentioned nosing the other day, how much I love nosing whiskies. It's probably my favourite part of the journey that you go on when you try a whiskey. Because again, we don't just pour the whiskey into a glass and drink it. You go through a bit of a ritual, right? Part of the ritual is nosing. Part of the ritual is having a first sip, swilling it around in your mouth to really get an idea on the taste, and then immersing yourself in the entire journey, if we want to call it that. But there's a part of the journey, the very start of the journey, that I've not touched on, which is, what does it look like? And it is something we all do. You know, if you ever see a bunch of whiskey nerds sat around a table, you know, they'll all be there holding their glass up to a, you know, to the light, or holding a bottle up to the light, you know, and waxing lyrical on what it's telling them. It's a part of what we do. It doesn't tell us whether a whiskey's going to be good or bad, but it does tell us something. You know, it sets us off on the journey towards tasting it. It tells us that maybe it's been matured for a certain length of time. It tells us the types of oak casks it might have been matured in, because of the influences that come in from different casks. But really, more than anything else, it's just a cool way to kick things off. And so, when I was thinking about what to pair with Black Christmas, I looked at my shelf and I went, what is the darkest coloured whiskey I can find? And it's this one. It is a Glentauchers 2008 independent bottling from Duncan Taylor, one of their Octave range. And I went on a tasting a couple of years ago with the Spirits Embassy, and I got to try this Glentauchers. It wasn't actually this Glentauchers, it was the 2009 edition of this. And I was blown away by it. I absolutely loved it. And straight away I wanted to go and buy, go and buy a bottle. But they didn't have any. They didn't have any in stock. And so I was disappointed. But they came back to me and they said, yeah, but we do have the 2008. And that's just as good. And, you know, being the trusting person that I am, I bought a bottle. And thankfully they weren't having me on. It is a superb bottle of whiskey. And very similar to the 2009. It's, I know it's been part matured in ex-sherry casks. So again, the colour, some of the sherry influence might be coming through there. The age is 2008, you know, so it's getting on in years. Again, the wood influence, the longer it's going to be in the cask, the darker the whiskey is going to be anyway as well. And so yeah, I mean, you just have to have a look at it. Look at that colour; it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so dark. And if I do it like a little side by side comparison, you know, that's these are both Scottish single malt whiskies, both of them effectively the same type of product, but they look completely different. So again, one of the things I love about that ritual that we go through is that initial, what does it look like? Gorgeous. So, I'm going to try my my Glentauchers. I'm going to watch a movie that I know nothing about, and I'm going to come back and then we'll have a little chat. Okay, thank you. So, all done. We've watched Black Christmas. How did it go? Was it a Christmas classic? It was definitely a classic. I loved it. I think Holly loved it as well. You see so many things in these films that people say are a precursor to, you know, to all the things that came afterwards, and go, oh yeah, I recognise that, you know, that style, that you know, that theme, that approach, that filmmaking technique. And it was yeah, it was great. It was really, really good fun. Not very gory, which is something else that I really like. I think, you know, horror movies that are a bit more psychological are always, in my mind, better. So yeah, really good film. It is a Christmas movie without a shadow of a doubt, not just because of the title. It's set at Christmas. It's, you know, it's very Christmas themed. There's carol singers and all that kind of stuff. A lot of snow because it's up in Canada. However, it does leave my rating system a little broken, because when I designed my 12 Days of Christmas ranking, I really was thinking about the checklist of what makes a great Christmas movie. You know, so overly sweet sentimentality, you know, all the family and friendly, you know, kind of styles that you expect in that kind of a movie, you know, the old song and dance number, all that stuff. And this movie doesn't really have a lot of that. So I've got to come up with something new. It is still a really good film, Really, really good fun. And for that reason, I still feel I need to rank it highly, and so I'm still going to do that, but with a slight tweak to the system. So I'm going to give this out of 12, 9 bloody knives stabbing, because I think that's what it warrants. As a horror movie, it's really, really good. It's great fun. It's a bit dated, it's low budget and everything else, but you can't let that always impact things. It's so there we are, 9, which actually means if we rank it against White Christmas, who knew? Black Christmas is actually better. Hard to believe. Shocked is where we're at right now. The whiskey, Glentauchers, awesome. Still really, really good. Doesn't taste like a cash strength. I think it's 53.9%. Doesn't feel like that. Feels a lot weaker in a good way. A lot of cash strengths you need to add water to. You really don't with this one, I think. The sherry influence is there. It's there on the nose. It's there on the initial palate as well. And then on the finish, a bit more of the, I guess the ABV does come through at that point. It's quite creamy as well, which is another reason why it's probably fine to drink it without any water. But yeah, just a really great classic whiskey. Went perfectly with this movie because, again, I'm going to keep going on about it. Look at that colour. It is amazing. Lovely and dark. So what am I going to give this? I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 for this lovely Glentauchers. I think you can still pick a bottle of this up, but it has been going up in price, understandably, on the secondary market and things like that. But yeah, really, really good one. And sadly, not that much left. So this is going to be gone pretty soon, which I'll be sad about. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I seem to be doing alternating between movies I've seen and I'm really nostalgic about and movies I've not seen. And so lo and behold, tomorrow I will be doing a movie that I have seen many times before and I absolutely love. So I'm looking forward to that. Find out more about that tomorrow. Please do like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And I shall see you again. All right. Thanks, guys.